Let's talk tourism.
Since 1996, Soto has worked in a wide range of tourism roles in Costa Rica, from hotels to tour companies, from the Conchal Resort to Swiss Travel, Peridot Hotel Manuel Antonio, the Melia Hotels at, at headquarters, Aloft Hotels as well, and for the past 6 years, he has served as the general manager of the destination management company, Memorable Costa Rica. In his free time, he is a family man, an avid bird watcher, and a Lego collector.
Yes.
Marco, let's talk tourism.
Thank you for the invitation. Very nice to meet you finally.
Nice to meet you too. I've heard nice things about you. Please take us way back to the mid 90s. Where and when and how did you get started in tourism?
Well, I was a young guy. I was looking for a job, and I ended up in Dominical Beach. It was it wasn't that different because I was there just a few months ago. It hasn't changed a lot, but I was trying to make my way in life, and I found this job in this little hotel. The general manager, he was a Dutch guy. He told me, I asked him, what do I need to bring with me? He said, I remember very well. Well, all you need is your toothbrush. So I I went to Dominical. I spent 2 fantastic years over there. I learned how to surf. I was this close to have a tattoo on one of my legs. At the end, it didn't happen. But yes, everything started there.
Which hotel was that?
It was Villas of Rio Mar,
Oh,
still there.
wow.
Yes,
Wow.
Villas of Rio Mar, right in,
Dominical.
right in front of the Baru River.
Excellent.
Yes,
And so from there, it was love at first sight with tourism.
yes. Um, my essence is, I'm a hotelier. That's my essence. So from there, I went to work with Melia for 13 years. I worked 9 years with them. Then I left for 1 year to work with the Swiss Travel in Guanacaste, which was a fantastic year. Changed the perspective of tourism. I really learned about tour operation. Is when everything was starting in Guanacaste with the charter companies and that were coming to Melia and to Hacienda Pinilla and all that. And then I came back to Melia because I wanted to make a life here in San Jose. I was married already. I didn't want to stay in Guanacaste any longer. I'm a city guy and the amenities of a city. So I came back to San Jose, still working with Melia. So I'm here ever since in San Jose.
And you've seen a lot of different sides of the industry,
Yes.
hotels, tour operation, at the hotels themselves versus at headquarters of hotels. What's your favorite part of the business? What's your favorite side of the industry?
Uh, my favorite side is people because on the road you meet so many people. And what I like about it is that you never end learning something new every day. So the best school for for tourism, for business, for hotels is actually when you're in it. So you have the chance to meet people from everywhere and in every part of the story. The tourist, the client, the suppliers in the middle, and the workers. But uh, from the workers is where you learn more. You learn from the maid, you learn from the bellboy, you learn from the tour guide, you learn from the accountant. Uh, so it's what I really like most about this industry because tourism is not only about traveling. You know, so many different processes are involved in tourism. Everything. So yes, you get the chance to learn everything or a little bit every day.
It really is amazing what a massive and deep ecosystem tourism is.
Yes, it
To,
is.
to the point where, every day you'll meet somebody who's like a golf tourism specialist, and you
Yes,
just didn't realize what a huge niche that was. I mean,
yes,
it's a whole world.
completely.
In all that time that you've been in tourism, if you could go back and give yourself some advice, what would it have been?
Hmm. We cannot go back in the time. We cannot change the things that we have done. I'd like to think that it's better to think, you know, about the future, about the things that we can do better. And Um, I think that in Costa Rica, I have to say, we have done it very well. It's a very solid destination. We have a little bit for everybody. We have the big resorts in Guanacaste for the tour companies, for the charter companies, which is important because, those big resorts provide, uh, you know, employment. But on the other side, we have these amazing boutique hotels, in the middle of the jungle or overlooking the ocean. So I think I wouldn't change the things that we have done because we have done that very well. Okay. But we have to stay away from those mistakes that other destinations have made. I think we have to still be away from turning Guanacaste into a massive destination, which is not yet. Is not. Uh, we have to stay away from the mistakes that maybe our neighbors from the south made. Building many hotels in one small area, and so most of the hotels are still empty. So we have to observe what's happening in our surroundings, uh, just to keep our destination in a healthy, in a healthy manner to keep the business, profitable at the end. It has to be that way.
And what are the destinations whose mistakes you think we need to avoid? Or are there destinations that you think Costa Rica can emulate?
Well,
Where,
Panama City is one of of the of the cities that we observe. Uh, we all have been in Panama. Panama is an amazing country. I think they do not understand the tourism business very well yet, um, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of service. But Panama has been building hotels, massive hotels for many years. And, it comes to a point where you cannot compete. I mean, and that will force you to bring your rates to a ridiculous level where it's not going to be a good business anymore. So you can have a 700 rooms hotel in a city, and only a third of it is occupied with a $79 rate.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
It's
those
good.
are those are the things that we have to observe. Who is doing it well in our region, in a different scale, because it's a very small country with low population, but Belize is doing it very well. I like it. We've been exploring that destination, and one of the things that I like about Belize is that they don't have, of course, it's a very small country, and with very low population, so they have to be very careful. But you don't see those big resorts over there. Still, I don't think it's going to be an issue for them because they don't have these characteristics. But they have very nice hotels. One of the things that I like about Belize is that they don't talk about sustainability. They simply do it. Okay, they sell the destination as a vacation, place, not as a sustainability, experience. They don't talk about it anymore. But when you get there, they do it, and they do it very well.
Yeah.
It's one of the things that I like about Belize.
What trends do you see changing in tourism post-pandemic? What are you hearing either from agents or from clients directly? What patterns do you see shifting?
Yes, well, I read a lot. I'm always reading Skift. I'm always reading, Condé Nast or Travel and Leisure and all that. And and what you're reading, I think is true. Okay, people will want to go boutique. Safety will be the main issue for a while. Uh, they want to travel to places where the protocols are, well established, and but that's not going to last forever. We know that, and we don't want that to last forever because we don't want to wear this thing every day, 8 hours or 9 hours until we get home. But right now, what we're seeing right now in the short term is that the other thing that we've been seeing, and I'm still trying to figure out if that's gonna be a trend at the end, is that people are looking for vacation rentals. But right now, I'm not seeing that very hard in Costa Rica. I think that people still prefer international travelers still prefer hotels. uh, uh, Locally, I don't know much about local tourism, but I know that locals are looking for apartments or condos and all that. So that's the main thing that we'll see in Costa Rica for in the near future.
You do the road show a lot, or at least you did
Yes,
pre-pandemic. Yeah.
yes.
What's the biggest misconception that you see out there about Costa Rica when you're selling it to the trade? What are the questions they're asking you all the time, or what's the giant disconnect?
Well, I have to say that Costa Rica has a very good reputation. Still is a leader in sustainability, and uh, I mean, it's amazing how people know about that. Okay, Costa Rica is still about nature, about adventure, and people know that, and they appreciate that. Uh, I kind of say that there is a misperception about the country, but somehow uh, they compare Costa Rica with the other Central American destinations. When they talk about safety, when they talk about the quality of life, maybe those two things. I cannot. I don't want to speak. Say bad things about the rest of the Central American neighborhood, but those are the misperceptions that you have to deal with because especially in terms of security, of safety. But it is very easy to make things clear for uh, uh, for the decision makers uh, about what Costa Rica really is for the travelers.
Certainly, a lot of people whose lives depended on tourism are probably reconsidering their career choice.
Yes.
A lot of people have left the industry. Some might never return. Maybe also there's a bit of a push regionally to move beyond tourism. I mean, that's even a theme of some of the development banks is what are we going to do after tourism? For a young person who is considering a career in tourism, why would you encourage them to pursue it despite this downturn? What do you think is so great about a future career in tourism for someone who's maybe 20 years old?
Okay. Uh, we have to tell the truth. Okay. We will have a few difficult years ahead, and the tourism careers will be, how do you say that in English, saturated.
Sure.
Okay. So for young people, who has that passion, my main advice is the second language or a third language. It's very important that right now, because if you cannot work in tourism, okay, uh, in the next 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 years, I don't know. Hopefully, it will be a short time. A second language will open the doors in other job. Okay, so that's my main advice to a young person. And we have seen that. I mean, we all know, somebody who's working on a call center or another company, which is fine. People need to work, which is fine. That that job will provide experience. They will learn the new skills. But at the end, I am sure that Costa Rica will recover its position. Things will come back to normal, and people will come back to work in what they do and in what they do well, because the tourism workers in Costa Rica are very, very good, very good.
Agreed. We've all had some personal epiphanies in 12 months now of pandemic.
Yes.
Have you had any massive life changes, or have you had any silver linings come out of this for you personally?
Personally, I have learned a few things very important. Um, I mean, I'm 50 years already, so we all have to deal with different, personal situations, and there is a point in your life where your goals, your priorities, your dreams are different. Personally, I have learned that a saving account is very important. Okay, um, and professionally, I have learned that a saving account is very important. Um, uh, and that's my advice to you to the young people, because especially when they're making their way through life, and they're starting to see some green bills in their pockets, in their wallets. I mean, don't spend everything you have. Okay, okay, there is a life ahead.
Yeah.
You have to build your future, and the future is not for free. um, what I have learned also is that uh, the relationship with people is very important. I'm so grateful that we are at this moment where we can come back to the office, when we can, see our parents, and and we still have to wait a few more weeks, but at the end we want hugs and kisses, because relationships is what build the humanity. Okay, I'm sure we will meet soon with a nice cup of coffee anywhere here in La Samana. That's what we want to do. So yeah, those are the things that you have to appreciate in your life. Family, friends, work.
Well said. And I mean, I think ultimately that balance is the essence of pura vida, and something that foreigners instantly recognize and appreciate in Costa Rica and Costa Ricans.
Yes.
Um, what do you think is at risk, or what is the biggest risk facing, or that could prohibit the future of Costa Rican tourism? What do you see as potential dangers for us to lose our position or the incredible brand image that Costa Rica has today?
Hmm. I think we are facing uh, the same problems that Latin America uh, is facing. Uh, Still, we are a different country. We have done the things very well. The decisions that we have made in the past have impacted very positively our culture, our way of life, our um, my main concern in the future is the misinformation that we have as a society. Okay, and that misinformation will not let us make the right decisions in the future. And let me put it this way: at the end, we will have to go and vote. Okay, in the coming elections, and uh, right now you hear a lot about of noise about things that are important but are not the most important things. Okay, we should be worried about our economy. Okay, we should be informed of what's happening right now with the fiscal situation in the country. My concern is that the political changes that we'll see in the future will bring leaders that do not care about tourism. Okay, that and when we see some of those dialogues and those speeches in almost every day in the Congress, in the executive power in the government, at least I have to say that we have good allies in some of the corners of the government that that have that voice. But my main concern is what's going to be happening in the near future in terms of governance in Costa Rica.
Mm.
Uh, we'll see what happens. It's a free country. Everybody has the right to make their own decisions. But that's my main concern. The other concern is the things that we don't know. What can you say about it? What's going to be happening in the future? what's happening right now in the U.S. now that Texas is not that Texas is allowing everybody on the streets without wearing a mask or whatever. Even here in Costa Rica, are we done with the pandemic? We don't know yet. So, but I mean, but we don't know. I mean, that's in our mind all the time. Right now, let's focus our energy on what we know, and let's work very hard.
And I guess this is sort of a lame business school question as a follow-up, but where do you think the biggest opportunities are? Obviously there's risks out there, but Costa Rica's got a lot of great things going forward, a lot of momentum. If you were in charge, what are the opportunities that you think we need to seize?
But good things have happened here. Okay, I think we were a little bit late with the initial measures that we took some time ago. Uh, uh, the Ministry of Tourism, Mr. Gustavo Segura, he's an ally, and uh, he has taken the lead, and he has said and done the things that he has to say. Okay? Um, he has opened some opportunities. The I have to say that we're seeing positive things right now. Okay, we're very busy here in the office, which is a good thing. We still have some, uh, uh, we have a road ahead to cover. Uh, but I mean, when you think about the neighborhood in Latin America, Costa Rica is open. It has been open for a few months already. We have taken our risks. Okay, we all know that. Uh, we have never stopped marketing the country. Okay, and I see there a great opportunity for the near future. I don't want to say that it's going to be a V curve, but what we're seeing right now is a recovery. Full recovery? No, not yet. It takes time. It takes work. It takes sacrifice. It takes a lot of brain. But I definitely see an opportunity for the country right now. Either if the government, I know the government knows that already. I was gonna say it different, but the government knows it already. Okay, so tourism will be a game changer in the midterm for the health of our economy. Okay, employment, all the chain that reacts around the tourism. So I see an opportunity to have a less harder impact, to suffer a little bit less than the rest of the countries in our neighborhood will be suffering. Unfortunately, will be suffering. Yeah.
In all your years in tourism, I mean, you've got 3 decades now.
Yes.
What has changed the most about the country and or the industry?
Oh, everything has changed here. I mean,
What would have amazed?
back in those days, there were only a few, boutique hotels, a lot of good ideas, very bad infrastructure. Uh, Still was an agricultural economy. We were, exporting bananas and coffee, but everything has changed since then. And not only in tourism, we're seeing more and more other type of industries, high tech industries, medical supplies, a lot of call centers. I mean, those are not only call centers. Those are uh, massive uh, uh, companies that supply, accounting and high tech support for the big companies in Europe and in North America. Uh, we definitely have better infrastructure right now. Still some work to be done, and but everything has changed. We have a more educated population right now. More people have access to good education. Uh, everybody has access to at least, at least a phone with, with social network or internet or Google or whatever. Uh, I'm I'm really happy to say that Costa Rica has changed for good. Okay, uh, I'm not even going to mention the environment because we have we're still doing a great job over there. We have some challenges ahead. We still have to clean the rivers in the San Jose Valley, but the things we have done in Costa Rica in terms of environment is fantastic. I'm really happy of what we have seen here there.
And what are the parts of Costa Rican culture or the country? What are the things that you hope are preserved? What do you hope never changes?
Um, I'm the generation that had to learn how to deal with garbage. Okay, and we still have some work to do with the old generations. Okay, but I always say this: my kids have that in their blood, in their genes already. Okay, I mean, I have a 13 years old and a 9 years old daughters. Uh, they're compulsive recyclers. Okay, I mean, I don't know how many months or years have passed since I don't buy a bottle of water because we don't need bottled water here in Costa Rica. I just need to refill this. So that cannot change. Okay. Uh, the other thing that cannot change is I don't want it to sound silly, but our pura vida is essence. Did I say it right? Essence.
Sure.
That cannot change. It doesn't matter how big our problems we think they are. Okay, we're still in Costa Rica. We don't have to deal with the problems they deal in other parts of the world. Okay, so that essence cannot change. It doesn't matter how angry you are. It doesn't matter how frustrated you are. Costa Rica has a lot of opportunities to offer. I mean, we are dealing with difficult times, but we have a bright future ahead if we make the right decisions.
Yeah, I agree with you. And, echoing back to your earlier comment about disinformation and whatnot, knowing that we're going to have a political season approaching here soon.
Yes,
Uh,
very
I,
intense political
I,
system.
yeah, and the last election here was very divisive. It was
Yes,
basically based on wedge issues. I really hope that Costa Rica doesn't follow the same path of political division, um, identity, and class warfare that seems to be happening everywhere, because that is what has made Costa Rica so great up to now. Is there's always been this spirit of this overarching thing of what it is to be Costa Rican, that patriotism and tiquisia kind of trumped everything.
yeah.
Um, I hope that does not change. Look, now that we're exiting the pandemic and we can all, those of us who are in travel tend to also be travel junkies. Where are you traveling to next? Do you finally have a flight on the books?
Uh, I want to go to Belize with my family. It's I wanted to have that unique Caribbean English flavor, which is it's a very unique destination. Of course, I have young girls. They want to go to Disney, and I will take them to Disney. It's I mean, it's not a sin. Of course, it's not a sin. What's wrong with that? Of course, I will
Right.
take them to Disney.
Yeah.
And so those are my two common journeys as soon as we're ready for it.
And which spot in Belize do you like?
Oh, I like Plasencia and I like San Ignacio. Let me put it this way: San Ignacio is like Monteverde in Costa Rica, with the Pine Ridge, very unique forests, and with the archaeological sites and the caverns that they have in the jungle. And Plasencia is like it's different. It's a Caribbean site in the south part of Belize. but it's a very quiet, calm beach with, with that perfect sea and, the boutique hotels, with the sustainability things that they don't sell, but they do. It's very nice. It's very
Sounds
nice.
nice. And when you travel internally here in Costa Rica, where do you like to go?
Everywhere.
Do
I
you
mean,
have a particular magic spot for you?
no, I like everything. You're not going to ask me which one is my favorite daughter. I mean, I don't have any. You can go to the Cachi Valley in Cartago, or you can go uh, to the mountains of Puriscal, where nobody goes, and you find these magic spots. I'm a bird watcher, so I'm always looking for these secret places. But you can go to Monteverde, you can go to Arenal, you can go to Tortuguero, you can go to Puerto Viejo, you can go to Santa Teresa, you can go to Nosara, you can go to the northern part of Guanacaste, you can go to Rincon de la Vieja, to Irazu, to Poas. I mean, you name it. Everywhere you go in Costa Rica, you simply enjoy it. So I'm not gonna say that I have a favorite spot here in Costa Rica.
Great. Last
Still,
question.
still I have to discover the South. Osa Peninsula is still
Sure.
I have to discover that.
And that's an incredible spot because that's one that because the logistic difficulties there that might be the slowest to change.
Yes,
And I've only been 4 or 5 times in my 20 years here. It's one that every time you go,
yes.
it's overwhelming. It's so unique.
In
It
terms of in terms of biodiversity, it's so intense out there.
it's amazing. It really is. And that Golfo Dulce side I think is really
Right.
underrated too. Last question. It's a bit metaphysical perhaps, but everyone has this definition of pura vida, right? But
Hmm.
what is it to you? You know, if you're describing it to some German friend who's just learning Spanish or whatever, what is this thing, pura vida?
It's so essential. Uh, well, pura vida is like the how do you say that in English? It's like the profound meaning of being in Costa Rica any amount of time. I mean, it's a profound meaning. Okay, is the beginning of a conversation? Is the end of a conversation? Is the way you say thank you? Is the way you say hello? Is the way you say I'm fine? Is the way you say this meal was perfect? I mean, is the way you say see you later? Uh, is the way is the way you can say I'm sorry? Okay, uh, it has a profound meaning in our culture, in our vocabulary. So, I mean, what can you say about the pure life? I mean, life is life. When you have the pure life, I mean, where else can you go before that? After that, I'm sorry.
Tough to top that. It's been a lot of fun talking with you. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for your time, and I look forward to that cup of coffee soon.
Yes. Are you are in Savannah right here in Longwood? Or
Not far from you at all.
walking distance, especially with these amazing afternoons we're seeing here in Savannah.
Awesome. Talk to
Yeah.
you again soon.
Let's talk tourism.